credits on your for all your websites, everything. Okay, okie dokie, Smokey.
And I'm recording now.
Right on. All right, groovy gravy, baby.
All right.
I'm the clown in the group, in case you didn't know.
All right, we're gonna go live. We're going live. Well, good afternoon, folks. It is Saturday, May 27th already, and just past high noon here, Eastern Daylight Time in the bunker at Tampa, Florida. We are honored to have 4 of the fabulous 5 together this morning. Dave with News Now Houston may be joining us. He apparently is on assignment, but we have our good friend Steve, PNP News. We have our good buddy Jay. It's the class clown, and then the second, there's probably a little competition in there between the class clown, Chief Jones, and Jay. And of course, Steve and I will keep the group handy. So anyway, gentlemen, welcome. We did a little improvisation here with the analog mic, but I'm going to put it in the mixing board, so when we do this again, we'll have a little better idea what's going on. Anyway, gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. Steve, we'll start with you since you're up on the upper left of the screen.
All right. Well, I'm Steve from PNP News. That's my YouTube channel. Also got a website called Politics and Preppers. That's where the PNP comes from for our host here, which we were talking about the other night.
The PNP transistor?
And I've been an activist for years, many years, and just started doing First Amendment audits last year. But that's probably good enough for now. I mean, they'll find out more about me as we go, I'm sure.
Jay, did you want to pick up next?
Who did you pass the ball off to? Me?
Yes, sir.
That
Okay.
would be Jay. That's correct.
I'm Jay Vincent. I have a moniker online of Luck Foyers. It's a spoonerism for the reversal of that. And so I've been through more shit than Charmin, and I'm here to tell you how I made it through. So that's what I'm here for. You know, we're having fun with this, and really my goal is that people know who they are, know who has the burden of proof, know to never argue, and know or document your remedy. So that's, you know, if you can do that, it saves a lot of time and hassle in life. And those are 4 filters I use to run everything through. I'm online on YouTube. I'm at Luck Foyers Institute. So it's 2 words.
Now, would you care to decode that with the Tony the Tiger decoder ring that I see on your left finger there, and to how that name came about, or you want folks to figure it out and we'll talk about it next show?
Oh, the name for Luck Foyers? It's a spoonerism. There was a guy named Spooner, and he always got his words mixed up. And so spoonerism for fuck lawyers is what it is. And so I also have a cousin named Buck Fankers. So anyway.
Is that like game bramage?
Right. That just shickles the tit out of me.
I'm staying out of this.
Well, last but not least is our, which is how all this kind of started, is our good buddy Chief Jones. Chief, how are you today, sir?
I am blessed to the max. I'm so tense. If I was any more tense, I'd be 2 tense set in the field. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I salute all the activists out there that's trying to make people act constitutionally. And my hat's off to PNP and to Dave going out there risking their life in El Paso and everywhere else they go all over the country, doing what they do and actually putting themselves in harm's way to make the cops understand there is a constitution in your state and there is a constitution for the nation. And if you violate it, you're in deep doo-doo. And Steve with PNP is going to prove it to you, and Dave's going to prove it to you. And if everything works good, I will be too. I'm a retired chief of police out of Florida. I'm a chief deputy constable retired out of Alabama. And I spent about 8 years as the chief deputy constable for a constable's agency in Texas back in the 80s. So I think I got 10 years in as a chief deputy constable all in all. And then I've got a bunch of years in as the chief of police, or some agencies had me as their acting chief of police. I've been a deputy sheriff. Everything in the criminal justice, public safety field, working in prisons and jails and everything else, I've done it all. You know, I never come across John Masters, fake name, Jonathan Henry Spill, real name, but I worked a lot of prisons and jails, and I'm still checking to see if he wasn't in one of the jails where I was an officer at, and I just missed him. But he's a criminal, and you stay away from him. That's my word.
Well, not to talk ill about anyone, but the little bit of information that was shared with me was scary. It was scary looking. Boy, he ran a game on me, but it didn't last very long. I didn't lose anything, but he, and again, Chief, you know the story. I mean, you and I had a chat, but you as a gentleman said, hey, I've got an arrangement with this guy, and I need him to call you, and you know, he talked a good game, but then I had some of my watchdogs call me and caution me. So we had a very plain vanilla show. I do the best to, when the show is scheduled, the show must go on. And of course, when something comes up in my real job, my office, this has got to fall to second. But keep those balls juggling. But you know, the bad brought us the good.
Right. Well, everybody's got their belief system, but in my belief system, what goes around comes around. Now, because I'm a Christian, I believe Jesus says, hey, you do a bunch of bad stuff and push it uphill, I'm going to let it come down and smack you, okay? My good buddy Jay, he's a minister of truth. That means he's out there searching for the truth, okay? He's gonna let me know what he finds out, okay? We can compare notes. But anyway, I say God moves in mysterious ways because I was on something, and one of your people called you, so that got us introduced, and now he's out of the way, but our relationships have blossomed out of a bad deed he did, sprang the good out of all of us. I yield.
Well, the analogy is we had a bad seed that brought the back of us 5 together, and I'm still kind of wrestling with the name, but I kind of like the ring to that, you know? I'm not an egotistical guy, but credit where credit's due, and you guys, again, my job's to be the aggregator, the conduit, and, you know, and so, okay, well, let's, I'm going to, you know, there's no script here, but, you know, I'm going to say let's talk about what the mission of this group is, and I'm going to take myself out of that one because I'm, you know, the conduit here. But if you guys want to kind of bring up people up to speed that are going to see this that maybe aren't familiar with you gentlemen, tell us what your spoke in the wheel is about, and, you know, let it rip. Anybody first in gets the mic.
My group, and I know I have a high pitched fan in the background, but my group think is I'd like everybody here to be heard. That's my deal. I'd like everyone here to be heard. My individual goal is twofold. Number one, I want to find out what makes this entire construct tick, and then I want to turn it upside down. Those are my 2 goals. So I like to simplify things. This life is so complex, and you know, if I can figure out what makes it tick and how to turn it upside down, I'm constantly looking for those keys. So, and I found a few of them.
Chief.
Yeah, well, look, I've been at this game, public safety, criminal justice field, 39 years and some change. I started off when I was in high school. I was 14 or 15 years old, and I was right at 6 foot tall and about 200 pounds back then. And most people took me for 20 or 21. And even though I was in high school and I was in ROTC, I just kind of grew up in a uniform. I was kind of mature and a good guy, so the other cops treated me like a cop, even though I was in high school. And I think after a while, they forgot I was in high school, and they forgot. And, you know, I shouldn't tell it, but it's enough years, and all of them's retired except 2 of them, and they're probably fixing to retire. They used to actually give me a gun, and I carried it in my waistband. Now, they would have got fired for doing that, okay? But I actually tackled the people, put cuffs on them, ran radars, wrote tickets, wrote reports. I did everything that the full-time peace officers were doing, except they signed their name on the bottom of stuff. But I actually wrote out the reports and did stuff. And you were supposed to get to ride on patrol like twice a month. Well, hell, I was out there 20 times a month riding. I had officers asking me to ride because, hell, I was doing all the damn work. And they just drove around and said, okay, Jones. And I was out there taking the pads and the notes. And so I grew up in the business. First job I had, I went in as a reserve on my first sworn job. I'd been there 21 days. I showed up one day, and the mayor and the chief was in the office. They said, you ready to go full-time? I said, yeah. So they swore me in full-time, and then they said, now we're going to swear you in as the chief of police. And I said, what do you mean? I go from reserve to full-time to chief of police in 5 minutes. What's going on? They said, well, the chief of police is taking a 2 to 3 week vacation. And actually, we got a sergeant, we got patrolmen out here. But since you worked in Dallas and you come with such high praise and so much training, we're actually going to make you the acting chief of police while he's gone. I'm like, wow, you know? So I went from nothing to everything in the drop of a hat. And so I had to learn how to take care of budgets and operations from a reserve standpoint to being an administrator all in a day's time. And it was crazy, and I thought I was going to lose my mind. But it did give me something to work forward, and I said I would like to become the full-time chief of police. And my old chief of police, he worked the John F. Kennedy assassination in Dallas. And in fact, if you're looking at the picture, Oswald is in the middle. There's one man on the left, one man on the right. The tall guy that's right behind them, that's Robert E. McKinney. He was a lieutenant with the Dallas Police Department. He's the guy that trained me how to act constitutional. And he told me a lot of things I didn't understand at the time, the way warrants used to be wrote, the way they're wrote now, the way they were served, the way they are served now. And it was starting to get to be a thing where some cops were asking for IDs of people. He said, you can't just run up and ask an ID from somebody for no freaking good reason. He said, people got rights and you have to leave them alone. And he said, some of these arrogant college cops and some of these other cops in these bigger cities are running up on people asking for ID. He said, they have to believe a crime was committed, is being committed, or about to be committed, and they have to assimilate that and articulate that, and they have to explain it to the person, the man or woman that they're stopping. They have to say, I suspect you of having committed a crime, you are committing a crime, about to commit a crime, whatever the case may be, and the reason I suspect that is because, and you have to lay it down to that person at that time, and then you have to tell them you're being detained while I assess the situation. But the detainment can be 15 or less minutes. And in that amount of time, you got to get enough probable cause to make the arrest or tell them so long. Okay. The only thing he didn't do was he didn't tell me you didn't have to have a driver's license or registration, because he had been tricked and fooled about that and he didn't know. He was up in his 70s at that time, and he had already retired Dallas PD, and at San Angelo State University, he retired as the chief of police down there too. this was his third career. I think he spent 10 years with them. But, you know, I started learning, but I didn't learn enough. And then I went to one academy after another, and I finally figured out, here's the deal. The police academy, for example, in Texas, come along somewhere between 69 and 73. Unless you were in a big city like Dallas or Houston or somewhere, they had their own. Third career. So the police acted lawful, and they acted the way all police had always acted. But somewhere, somehow, once the academy started, then they started fine-tuning, and it was the early 80s, the mid-80s, in Texas, for example, before police had this uniform training, and they all started acting alike. And then they all started learning how to be aggressive. And they all started trying to figure out, how can I play this mind game with them and get what I wanted? And in the early 90s, they started telling cops, you can lie to people. They can't lie to you. It's a crime. It's a one-way street. You lie to them, but they can't lie to you. So, but if your lies get them tripped up and they lie to you, thinking they're protecting themselves, you know, so it's a phony scam, and the cops are taught, if you can lie to people and if you can persuade them to confess on themselves and build a case for you, you're a great freaking cop. They're not teaching them, hey, you're violating their Constitution going up and coming down. You violated their inalienable rights as a man or woman. You violated them. You made false presumptions and false assumptions. And one of the things Jay and I are good at is role playing. We've done it plenty of times on the phone, and sometimes he gets me more than I get him. But occasionally I get him. But this is what people want to know, this role playing. You know, like when the cop stops you, Jay's good thing is, hey, are you here to invade my privacy? I just want to know immediately. I'm like, I ain't never been run up on somebody and they say, are you invading my privacy? Hell, I ain't even asked for a driver's license yet. He's good at that. What is your reasonable articulable suspicion I've committed a crime? Why have you turned on your license to clear a state of emergency? Where's the fire, Chief? You know? So now I'm like, he's asking me the questions. I'm not asking him the questions. I'm off my game. You know what I'm saying? I'm taught to ask the questions. I'm not taught to answer the questions. So when he's asking questions, I'm answering the question. I'm freaking losing my mind. So all I got to do is figure out how to compartmentalize him, put him in a box, get him in my car, take him to jail, and take his ride to jail, and get out of there and hope ain't nobody videotaping me like PNP News over there. Well, you on camera, you dirtbag cop. You know, I yelled. Hey, I am on YouTube, Damon Chief Jones on YouTube, and I got my church, www.sovereignchurchofjesus.com, and my email is Damond, DAYMOND 4040 @yahoo.com. And I'm only one man, but I've answered over 500 emails so far, and most of them had to do with that fake guy, John Masters, real name Jonathan Henry Spiel, S-P-I-E-L. Stay away from that dirtbag.
He holds a mean grudge. So
I'm trying to protect the people.
Steve, go ahead. Steve, go ahead.
If I saw that guy on the street.
I heard there's from a little source not too long ago that there might be some activity happening in Oregon soon. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of activity. A lot. With the alphabet agencies.
I know nothing. I say nothing. So anyway.
Well, I have my sources.
Yes. Yeah. Well, Chief reminded me of the time I was pulled over driving with no operator's license. And I asked the state trooper, I said, in whose name and in whose authority do you approach me?
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, geez, the state of North Carolina, I'm just doing my job." And me and this guy became really, really good friends. And it was funny. He asked me. He said, why do you not have a driver license? I said, "Why?" He said, "Do you have a driver license?" I said, "No." I said, "But I have an identification." I said, "Can I get it for you?" He said, "Yeah." So I got out of the van, and I haven't told this story on my channel yet, but I got out of the van and walked around and got my paperwork for him that was highly certified all the way up to the Secretary of State. I still have it. And I gave it to him, and he's like, "Why don't you have a driver license?" I said, "Well, Psalm says he shall protect my going in and my coming out from this time forth and even forevermore. So why would I need authority from anybody else if he protects my coming and going?" I was a Christian at that point in time. And man, it's just floored this guy. He didn't know what to say. And so it was at that point in time, I didn't even realize it, but I knew that I had asked him a question he couldn't answer because I had put out something that caused him to have a moment of cognitive dissonance. His belief system in the uniform he was wearing was in conflict with the belief system of his mind and religion. And there was a real struggle there that could not be resolved. So that's, hang on one second. So that's the, sorry about that. Anyway, I changed my view here. So
hey, pull my finger. Go ahead.
But anyway, I yield.
Well, then I'll jump in here. Well, a lot of what Chief was talking about is why I'm here. What I concentrate on now, I got into it from a DWI many years ago that I did get out of. I mean, I won it in the courts, but it was a bogus DWI. Kind of hard to be DWI when you don't drink or wasn't drinking at the time and hadn't had any recently. So,
right.
Anyway, I waited quite a few years to get my kids raised before I started really getting active and getting out there. But what Chief was describing is mainly what we focus on, which, you go with the First Amendment and it leads up into the Fourth and the Fifth, and we do the Second Amendment too. We go out and defend that too. But our focus is on the First Amendment. You don't have to talk to a police officer, and they can't make you do a damn thing. They can't make you talk to them. The courts have even said, the Supreme Court says, don't talk to police officers. You do what you have to legally, but just because a police officer says you legally have to do this, you don't have to. But a lot of times because they're lying to you, and like the RAS, which you were describing earlier, reasonable articulate suspicion. They always want to leave out the A, which you guys have already heard this from me, but they never want to put that A in there. They just, I'm suspicious, or I suspect you of being suspicious. We've even had them say that. I suspect you of being suspicious, and I'm detaining you.
Educated idiots. Educated idiots.
Now, Ida Foxy Queen, she posted on a thread and she showed me a video of a lawyer that actually exercised her right to silence and was arrested for it. They said, you're going to answer my questions or you're going to jail. And so I stand corrected. I challenged this guy to produce this, and he didn't, but Ida did. And a lawyer actually got arrested for taking the Fifth. I didn't actually hear her say, I'm exercising my right under the Fifth Amendment. She just said, I'm not answering your questions. And, but same principle. But the deal is those officers were wrong for doing that. And if she's a lawyer, I haven't had time to research the outcome of the case yet, but I want to find out what happened there. Sorry,
there's also one out there where a lawyer was arrested at the courthouse for telling her client to keep his mouth shut and not answer the questions. And
there's been several of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. And we see it all the time. We use cameras to document how they treat people. But the camera is also the bait, if you want to call it bait. I don't call it bait, but a lot of people like to call we're baiting the cops in. Well, they bait people in all the damn time with their, so call it what you want, but we go out and we're in public and we're filming, and they don't like it. They don't like it when we film them. They don't like it when we film anything federal, any kind of federal building or federal facility, which we're in public and we can legally film anything we can see from a public place. And they said that's suspicious. And then they use that to try to force us to ID. Well, in Texas, we're lucky we have 3802, which if you aren't under arrest, lawfully under arrest, you don't have to ID. And they still tried. They have arrested us, some of our guys, and kept them in jail for days because they would not ID, even though there was no charge. They were arresting them for failure to ID when there was no charge, and there has to be a previous charge for that to happen. And they'll lie their butts off about it. And it's just ridiculous. So I'm going to stop there and see if anybody else wants to go from there.
Hey, I ain't telling nobody to do this. Nobody's pulled my finger yet. Hey, I ain't telling you to do this. But when the police come up, sometimes they'll say, how you doing today? Well, you just turn back to them and say, how you doing today? In other words, and they say, can I see your driver's license and insurance? Can I see your driver's license, registration, insurance? In other words, everything they ask you, you ask them back. In other words, they want proof you got driver's license, registration. I'd like to see yours. Or, and then if they say, look, we ain't going to play this game, say, hey, I just want them, they say, what, go, gobble, 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 gobble. You know, in other words, you turn the tide back, you know, you know. Is there anything wrong with you, sir? Is there anything wrong with you, officer? Why would you ask? Well, you just seem kind of weird. I was thinking the same thing about you, officer. Hey, I tell you what, officer, go have a seat in your vehicle. I sit here in my private automobile, and I'll call 911 and get an ambulance out here to take care of you. Once you're in the ambulance, and I'm going to go on about my way, how about that? That'd be fine with you? Because it's good with me. You know, in other words, we can play these games all day, okay?
Well, there's a line that I haven't used yet, but I'm going to use it one of these days when they come up and say, well, you know, we got a call. You're making people nervous. And I say, well, I'm not a doctor, and I can't help you with their nervous condition, but there's one right down the street over here you might want to send them to. But
sounds like a medical condition.
Yeah,
there you go. That sounds
like a medical condition, and I'm not a doctor.
I like it. That sounds like a medical condition.
Yeah.
You're making people alarmed.
Yeah.
That sounds like a medical condition.
Yeah.
Are you a doctor?
Yeah. Well,
by the way, that video from El Paso will be up around 6 o'clock in the morning. And
fantastic.
It's interesting about how he likes to try to force us into some kind of contact where he can use force against us. But it doesn't work because we know their tricks. So, especially police officers like that. I mean, it's just such an obvious thing when you see them doing that, what they're doing. So, I think Jim had something he wanted to say. Looked like it.
Yeah, go ahead, Hutmaster. Talk to us.
You sound upset today. You know, and I was watching Gavin's video, and I could smell the Dr. Phil bullshit coming out of these cops. Oh, you seem angry, or you know, they try to, or are you, like you gentlemen were saying, you know, are you mentally unstable, or you know, here, look at this ink blot.
Are you okay?
You seem angry.
This is. Do you know where you're
Yeah,
at?
you seem angry.
Yeah. Well, your powers of observation continue to serve you quite well.
Yeah, you're pissing me off.
And
yeah, I want to say the thing is a lot. The Cop Watch has done so much to show that the state that claims to protect rights actually abuses those rights and stomps on those rights. So there's a disparity between what their stated goal is and what their actions are, and it's insustainable. So it's not sustainable at all. But there is another level that we're missing, and it's court watch. And if we can get court reporters to go into court, and in addition to the ones that the judges control, the ones that work for the system, we could find out
Yes.
entirely different higher echelon of corruption, because I've done this, and it's expensive to do this, but there are a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in a courtroom that if we could get it on a court report, there could be judges that would pay for it, but it's being missed. It's under the rug.
Well, that's why they don't want videos, because, you know, like the Gavin story that we heard, you know, last night when we were discussing, these judges do stuff and they don't want it on video because they know that they're going to do stuff that'll get their butts in trouble, or that would upset the public to the point where they may not have that position very long. Because, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, because people in their normal lives, for the most part, do not interact with the police or the judges or the attorneys for legal, you know, the kind of conditions that we're talking about, tickets, you know, whatever. So we go out and we show them because they're not going to see it personally. But with the video, it doesn't lie. So they get to see what happened. And if I tell you that a cop did this, that, or the other to me, and it was wrong, that's one thing, because most people aren't going to believe you because they're conditioned to think the cops are going to tell you the truth about everything, and we know they don't. But if I show you a video, then you're going to go, oh, shit, that pisses me off. Let me get my blood pressure medicine because I'm going to need some for this, you know. I use that's one of the things I put on the title.
Yeah.
Get your blood pressure medicine ready for this video.
Judges don't want it on record, though. They want. I often wonder if when a judge goes to a restaurant, if they bring out his or her order with something wrong on it, if they threaten to hold him in contempt. I mean, you know, it's just. I mean, it's off the hook. Judges are. I'm sorry, Jim. I got to go here. Judges are cunts, and judges are butthurt panty waist cunts because they can do whatever they want, they think, and get away with it. And contempt is a word where they stick their finger in their belly button and decide which way is north.
Mm-hmm.
That's how arbitrary it is.
Now, share with everybody what cunt means to you.
Can't understand natural thinking.
There's another one too, isn't there?
Completely useless, needs training.
I had to get that out there because I knew most people aren't going to know what you mean by
it's actually okay. So my use of expletives and terms that shock and all. I heard a guy come into a setting one time, and I really like this guy, even though we're not connected right now. He came in, and I mean, every 5 minutes it was bam, 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 bam. And I was like, whoa, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds. I mean, every fifth or sixth word out of this guy's mouth was a harsh word. And I was highly Christian at the time, but I was in this thing and I'm like, you know, this is a rare opportunity here. I got to sit here. And after I got out of that, I realized that what the guy had done is bypass my critical thinking factor, because the people who see that and say, oh, that guy said, fuck, I can't listen to him. That's exactly my intent. I want them to stop there. If they have no ability to think, I want them to not attempt it, because thinking is a hard and dangerous process. And it is difficult, and it takes time, it takes energy. And if you can't think past someone saying fuck, then it's probably best just to say, you know, that's not for me. And that's okay, because the work that we all have to do, all of us, if we get out of system 1, our programming, and we go into system 2, which is our cognitive, and we go into thinking mode, you go into a doctor's office, they hand a stack of papers to you, you're in pain. You're like, oh my gosh, when did that happen? Oh, do you remember the year I had that surgery? You know, if somebody's waiting. So, I mean, it's a constant turmoil in your head. You have to.
Doctor, if you've had any major surgery, and I'm thinking, if I go in to get Crestor or one of these crooked drugs, why in the world would I tell my doctor? I have to tell my doctor that I've had major surgery. I mean, you're going to see something, and thank God I haven't. But you know, you hit the stethoscope on somebody's chest or give them a physical before you prescribe this poison to them. gee, Doc, did you miss the incision down my back? I mean, you know, we could go all over the map with this stuff, but it's back to these judges. They do their business through ego, and it is up to us to, now listen, I know there's some nasty people out there, but these judges are supposed to be fair, unbiased, and blind to anything but the law. And they don't make, in my opinion, they have to render a decision based upon evidence. Period. And you can take they might not like the way I look. They might not like the shirt I have on. That should not be relevant. Back to what you said, you know, you're in contempt because you put cheese on this burger. Officer, that's what they did to that gentleman yesterday, and that was a minor driving infraction that Gavin covered.
That was Gavin, right?
It wasn't Gavin. It was someone in the group.
Okay, I stepped away for a minute. I missed part of it.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Gavin because he's gotten himself in, you know, some hot water himself. But it was I forget the gentleman's name. But he was in for some type of a driving without a license, and he challenged the jurisdiction of the judge and wanted to know if he was being decided under admiralty law or common law, and challenged her jurisdiction. Well, of course, that pissed off her ego. So the way I understand it is they took him out, chained him to a bench, and like put a little kid in the corner. Okay, you go stand in the corner for 10 minutes and think about what you did. And then brought him back in the courtroom and demanded an apology from him. And he said, I'm not going to apologize because I didn't do anything wrong. Bam, 15 days, contempt of court. Now, I have to agree with Gavin here. And I don't know if you watched the encounter he had outside the jail, both at the visiting window, the bail window, the officers that he did encounter. I think he schooled them and gave them a lesson, but they had shit for attitude, in my opinion. I yield.
Hey, I just want to tell you guys, I forgot about it, but since you got on the stories of the judges, I know a man. I'm not at liberty to say his name, and even if I was, I wouldn't say it because I don't want him to get in trouble. There's a federal judge in the northeast quadrant of these here United States, you know, these United States. Anyway, he actually went before this judge about an issue, and the judge was trying to do right, but the judge was making mistakes. And my friend said, Your Honor, I believe the court is in error. He said, how so? So he actually listened to my friend and he said, well, here are the errors that I see you committing. And he said, they are errors. He said, I believe you're not deliberately doing anything wrong. So he got out American Jurisprudence Second Edition. He got out Bouvier's 1856 dictionary, legal dictionary. He got out the 1820 Webster's, whatever it was. Anyway, he said, based on this here, he said, in these federal titles, you're in violation, sir. And he said, I would like to continue this in camera. Do you have objection? My friend said no. The reason my friend said that he told him no was because the court reporter doesn't go in camera with him. So he got to go in the chambers with the judge and the prosecutor. So it's just them three in there because he's pro se. So the judge says, well, let's look this up and let's go over this stuff. So they did. But anyway, the judge said, I'm going to continue this for 2 weeks, and let's come back in camera at 10 o'clock in the morning on so-and-so date, and you have this streamlined out for me and bring it to my office 2 days ahead of time where I can. So the judge said, you're correct in all these areas, so I'm going to dismiss these cases against you. So he did. And so anyway, he was the last one out the door, and the judge said, and he waved him back. He your phone number and information's on here. Can I call you later privately? He said, yeah. So the judge called him that evening and said, could you come to my house and let's talk? And he said, yeah. He said, you know, he said, I've been trying to understand these, and I'm trying to give people a fair break. And he said, in fact, I'm in a lot of legal issues myself. And so he helped the judge turn the system back so the federal judge got out of trouble on a bunch of bogus crap. And so he started teaching the judge how to do things right. So this federal district judge is starting to make some good, really, case laws up there. And this guy's using these case laws. But the judge is under threat from the Bar Association in that state that practice in federal courts and a federal Bar Association because he ain't playing pool with them. So his decisions ain't running stream with theirs, and so he's proving that they're correct. So he's trying to use him and get his cases together, and I got people in a few other places that's working with judges trying to show that, for example, like cops, when they say, I'm suspicious of you doing something, and you ask them, well, what are you suspicious that I'm doing? Now, you have to lay down where a reason to understand the suspicion that you're suspicious of, okay? You said, I've caused a public alarm by being here, okay? You can see I don't have a gun. You can see I ain't in uniform. That I'm not on the TV like police shooting and killing people all the time. I think you're the officer. You're creating more panic and alarm here than I am. So I'm suspicious of you. Okay? So you can turn it back. But these courts are starting to see, because there's getting more of a flood. Because whether it's me or Jay or Steve or Dave, that we're getting in video and getting before juries and judges, the cop says, I'm suspicious of you. Okay, well, great. You know, I'm suspicious of a lot of people, but that don't mean nothing. It just means I'm going to watch them. I can't actually interact or do nothing. And when I was on the street, I was suspicious of a lot of things, people. So I had to watch them. And I had to think, is this normal? Is it abnormal? In other words, I'm thinking to myself, if I go and ask that guy for an ID, I best better be able to say, look, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. This convenience store has been closed for 3 hours or 4 hours. There normally is never nobody walking around here, and you've been looking in the glass. It's been 45 minutes. You walked out of the building. You walked around in the back of the building. I believe you're trying to get access to the building to burglarize it. So I can articulate my suspicion. So now I want ID. Now if you don't ID, now you're to jail, okay? Because you've caused an alarm. It's in the middle of the night. You keep walking around this building, and ain't nobody walks around it. And you keep peeping in, you know? And now I catch you, and you're standing on top of the damn building, you know? That's suspicious. A man walking down the street at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he ain't bothered nobody, that ain't necessarily suspicious. I go out when I can. I go out and walk between midnight and 4 in the morning, a lot cooler.
I do.
And too. I probably ain't going to get run over by a car. You know, I was in an area where they know me well, and they said, "Hey, Jones, we didn't know that was you down here." Said somebody called us and said there was a man walking down here. I said, well, I don't live but a block away from here. I said, people should know me. I'm always around here. Well, whoever it was didn't know who you was. I wasn't who I am. Well, we'd identify you. I said, you can't just come up on me and identify me walking down the street. I said, ain't you guys learning anything I'm telling you? I mean, me simply walking the street at 2 o'clock in the morning doesn't do nothing, okay? Now, if I had a flashlight and I was shining up in people's houses, or I was walking between the houses with a flashlight, well, now maybe a prowler, okay, I get it. Up looking in people's windows and shining a spotlight on their stereo or CB and messing with the handle, I get it. But just walking down the street, or I'm just in a shopping center and I'm videotaping, Hey, well, do you realize that your eyeballs see everything that you see anyway? And the only thing you're doing is you're recording it so somebody else has the same memory you have. In other words, what you see with your eyes, everybody see with your recorder when you show it back. So instead of telling the story, you can show them the story, and it's 100% accurate. You might be 95% accurate. So it's just another memory aid for you or anybody else. It improves what you say. So if you say something, the cop says something, it's your word against his word. But the video stands in the middle, and the video is the truth, and the truth has no agenda. I yield.
Well, real quick comment on that. See, I've always said in all this, and I've done a lot of court watching in foreclosure cases. I haven't for years, but we used to go almost every day. But if nothing was wrong, then why are they so afraid? And, you know, I can also kind of defend that logic with the NSA spying on us and people saying, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, what are you worried about? Well, I am worried about it because you're infringing on my privacy. You know, everyone has a certain amount of, you know, reasonable privacy.
I'm doing something wrong.
But that judge
Usually are.
is in a public capacity, in camera, as Chief said, or other, and they should conduct themselves accordingly as per the Constitution, as per their oath, and leave their egos outside. And if the video, and the other thing I wanted to bring up, I don't know how much time you guys have. I have all day. I really, like I said last night in our pre-call, I love the role play idea. And I think that you guys doing some role play and then putting it together as an educational piece, and then maybe what we do is have another call and let people call in and role play with us after they've taken your information in your courses. What do you guys think about that?
I'm ready to role play with Jay right now. Hey, I'm the police and I've stopped you, Jay. I want your driver's license, registration, insurance, because I don't know you.
I don't know you either.
Okay, but I need your driver's license, registration, insurance. Are you going to comply with me or not?
Listen, bitch, who the are you?
I'm the police. Can't you see I got a badge right here? I got a name tag. I'm Dr. Jones.
You got a driver's license I can see?
I just saw those on sale at Dollar Tree. I'm just saying.
Okay, man, I ain't going to. Hey, look, I ain't playing these mind games with you, boy. Look, you want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? Huh?
I've already been
I'm talking to you, boy.
Okay? I've already been to jail.
Well, you're fixing to go again, boy.
Are you taking me to a different one? Again, boy. The last one, they served shit food there.
Hey, look, you're an asshole. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. I'm going to pull you out of the car. You read me? Huh?
I'm 275. I go right ahead and start pulling.
Ah! Hey, I just want to let you know I'm going to invade your privacy.
You
want to look into the jail? I'm going to tell him I think.
Yeah.
Internal investigation. Why'd you shoot him? Because he didn't kiss my ass.
I'm going to tell him when we get to the jail. You told me that you stuff all your dope up your bunghole, so they're going to do a strip search down there. How about that?
You going to give him the jelly?
Yeah,
I remember that story.
All I have to say to that is what I'm on is the shit.
He wants strawberry jelly. It's a private joke, guys.
Keep muting for passersby.
We might have to tell that story one of these days, but hey, I'll jump in there. Chief was talking again about the RAS, but and you know, like we were talking about earlier, but you find these police officers that tell you, well, I can keep you here while I'm investigating. I don't have to detain you right now, but It's like, if you're keeping me here and you're not letting me go, then you are detaining me, and you have to have RAS. No, I can keep you here and investigate for 20 minutes or whatever it is, while I'm and keep you here, and that's bullshit, because RAS comes first. And I think they're getting that, and if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think they're getting that from a traffic law thing where they stop you for a ticket, and then they decide they want to get a dog out to sniff your car, and they can keep you there for X amount of time, whether while basically how long it takes to get that ticket done. But they can't keep you past that. I think that's where that's coming from. Am I wrong there?
The amount of time that they can hold you is an ambiguous variable.
Yeah,
that's not been determined by a court. So
yeah, I've heard 20 minutes, I've heard 15, I've heard 30. But I think what I heard was basically they can keep you there for about the amount of time it would have normally taken to write a ticket, which they could say, well, my computer was
what we were told,
and all that, so it took 30 minutes instead of 10 or 20 or whatever. They can keep you there, but they can't. That was on a traffic stop. They can't do that to you if you're walking down the street and they think you're doing something suspicious, or they just don't like the way you look. They have to have our AS, not just I want to investigate.
As a matter of fact, on the so-called traffic stops, the way we were taught was 15 to 30 minutes was the standard. Now, sometimes there'd be a K9 unit, and that K9 unit 25, 35 minutes away at best. So they told us, they said, look, you can't prove to a court that it was going to take you more than 30 minutes to get their information, run wants and warrants checks, which they don't just have a right to keep you there to do that, but they're going to say they do, that to write the ticket, get the wants and warrants, even with the slow computer, even with this, that, and the other, 30 minutes from the time you stop until they're gone, that's it. So if you can't get the K9 there, physically there, and run that dog all the way around the car once or twice, and the dog is supposed to hit twice. They're supposed to walk him around. You can't lead him. You got to walk him around. You can do your hand in front of him, and he follows your hand, okay? But you walk him around, he has to alert. Then you stop, then you walk him around again, and he has to stop at the same place and alert for a second time. And you're supposed to tell what the alert is. If my dog sits, it's an alert. If my dog sets his right hand up, it's an alert. If my dog leans forward, it's an alert. He has to do it 2 times to verify that there's a scent. That could have meant that yesterday somebody smoked cannabis in your car. The scent's there, but there's actually no dope there. Okay? It just means it hit on a scent it's been trained to hit on. Okay? But a third of the time, it hits on food that's left in the car. So a third of them are automatically wrong. The dog misses something like 10% anyway. That's like 43%. That's close to damn half the time it's wrong. That's another reason they have to do it twice. And they have to tell you in advance what the dog's going to do, and they don't never do that.
Hey, do they have any?
You know what I'm saying?
Do they have any statistics on how often the K9 handler makes that dog hit, even when it shouldn't? Like throwing its toy at the car, which there's a video out there. He threw his toy at the car and said that's a hit. And the other ones where there's a cop, bangs on the window or top of the door to like point him in that direction, and he gets up there and that's a hit,
right?
Or gives him a secret word, and to do whatever. We see that.
I have a question.
Right. Well,
I have a question that I ask cops when they start questioning me, and it actually takes a lot of the steam out of their future movement. I say, do I have a legal duty to assist you in your investigation?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, we use that.
No, sir, you do not. No, sir, you do not.
That's
but you are required to cooperate. But you are required to cooperate with me.
No, I'm not.
Wait a minute. You just said I didn't have a legal duty to assist you in your investigation, and now you're telling me I have to cooperate with you. Which is it?
You said it right.
Because that's what happens when they when you get them to say no, you don't have a legal duty to assist in the investigation. Then what you
we lost your audio. I'm unmuting you.
Go!
I just unmuted you.
Yeah, I got. All right. So what happens though is when I get them to commit on, do I have a legal duty to invest in to assist you in your investigation? They say no. Then that takes away obstruction charges. You're obstructing justice. That takes a steam out of that. You just told me I didn't have a legal duty to assist you in your investigation. So which is it?
You don't, but you are legally required to cooperate with my investigation.
What is cooperate if it's not assisting you in your investigation?
It means answering basic questions that is necessary for the police report that is required to be generated under state law by my agency.
So you do want me to assist you in your investigation?
No, I just want you to cooperate so that I can conduct my own investigation. Without your assistance, I just need basic information.
Okay, so
not incriminating questions, just basic.
Is the basic information part of your investigation?
No, sir. It's a fact-finding portion.
It's a fact-finding portion. So you're actually going to give me written exclusion that you won't use that against me?
No, sir. I'm not even familiar with what you're talking about, but I'm not a lawyer. Are you a lawyer?
Actually, I am me.
And I did stay at the Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, I did sleep at Holiday Inn Express last night.
Well, see,
on 400 count thread, thread count, whatever,
Jim, your audio is real low.
Right.
Mine is?
Jim.
Oh. Yeah, check.
That's a little better.
That better?
Yeah, it's better with your away from the mic.
Well, the mic. There. I just have to get closer because I've got a mic for our session up here, which is what Chief is about to get, my Logitech up there, and then I'm using this mic to broadcast out to our live show. So,
David.
There he is.
There's Wild Man. Usually when you have glasses on, it makes you look more intelligent, but the way he's got them on right now and looking at us like that, it's not working, David.
He looks like Chuck Schumer.
I just came out of the movies, and my hair's a mess.
Oh, my God.
I didn't realize the movie was going to be that long. What I missed?
What were you doing in the movie to mess your hair up?
It wasn't. It was outside. It's like fixing a storm here or something.
Another question.
I can't see David. Where's he at?
How you doing, man?
That's because David turned the video off. He's getting audio.
It's good to have you, David.
When I'm driving, if I have the video running, sometimes it cuts out.
We're getting lonesome.
Another question I like to ask is this innocent until proven guilty or guilty until proven innocent?
That's the frame of mind, sir. Are you guilty? Are you telling me you're guilty and you feel guilty and you want to confess?
I feel guilty.
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Officer, I feel guilty all the time because of what my mom and dad told me.
What was that?
That I was going to hell if I had improper thoughts.
Are you having
I'm going to hell
thought
for
about me?
Improper thoughts. I'm already going to be there.
For yourself. Or me and you.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel guilty
all
the time.
Include other people.
I'm with David. I feel guilty all the time.
Yeah. Hey, Steve.
Do you think you need some psychological assistance? I can call some to the scene, sir.
If that would make you feel better.
I think you would. I think you're having a mental episode. Let me go ahead. 401, go ahead and roll an EMS unit down here. We got a signal 20.
You know,
okay, sir, we're going to get you all the help you need.
Did you see what about
Sir?
Bob when he came back into the asylum? He had put Bob in, and Bob sitting there telling jokes to all the therapists. That's how that would turn out.
Yeah, right. But here's the good thing: if you go off on the ambulance, I ain't going to write you no damn ticket because you're gone.
Right.
But you have to get your car out of jail because I'll still impound it.
I'm gonna let the trustee handle that.
Ooh, trustee. Hey, you mean a trustee down at the jail? We have trustees at the jail. Are you gonna let one of them?
one of the white jumpsuits.
Hey, David, did you have something you wanted?
Well, Todd was just posting a thing on in our little text message thing about they changed.
How come I can't see Brother David?
Too, but they didn't change it.
No, I
think on the video.
Just a second. I think what he did is remember a month or so ago, I misread it and I asked you about it if you knew anything about it, and I think he just misread it. It's not changed.
He posted something and it looks like it's changed, but it's not. It has not changed.
Okay. Yeah, because I hadn't heard anything. You know, I think I would have.
No, that bill didn't even make it past it didn't even get put before a committee. It died quick.
Yeah, we talked about that a little while back, and we were worried about it, and then we found out that it was meeting opposition, and I hadn't heard whether it dropped or not, but that's good. What he's talking about is we were talking about 3802 here in Texas, where you don't have to show your license unless you're under arrest, except for if you're in a car and you're driving and you pull you over for a ticket, so on. We can talk about that one later, but this one is just like you're walking down the street and they want to ID you, they can't, because unless you're under lawful arrest. There was a bill that was brought up to change that, and it fell. And for some reason or another, it looked like it had passed on a certain document that one of our guys was looking at, but it didn't. Like David said, it didn't make it in. So we're still good with the 3802 the way it has been here in Texas.
Well, the law enforcement wants it changed really bad. I mean, they are pushing hard.
Yeah.
But so far, we've been able to push back and hold it up.
Well, if we can hold them to RAS, even if they do it, they're still going to be screwed for the most part, because.
Well, they would still be held to RAS, but they're not going to use that. But you're going to use it as a reason. They can invent RAS, okay, enough to get by a DA and charge you with failure to ID.
Yeah, we've seen them do all kinds of shit. They don't really care what the law says. We have plenty of video on that.
Correct. I mean, come on. How many times have I been arrested in the last 2 years for failure to ID, and there's no such statute?
Yeah, or get a ticket for like you did in El Paso because you were attacked.
Yeah. I'm the victim, and they write me the ticket.
Yeah. Uh-oh, dead air. We don't like dead air.
Oh, did we lose everybody?
No, we're all here.
Dead air.
Oh, okay.
Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air. Dead air.
Well, yeah, and then they wrote me the ticket knowing that
How come I can't see David?
Because I got my video turned on.
He's got his video turned off.
I'm driving.
Oh.
I'll turn it on.
I can't even hear him.
Can you hear me now? Can you see me now?
I can't see him or hear him.
I can see you and hear you. Your volume is a little low, but you're all right.
No, it's because I'm using the earpiece while I'm driving.
Yeah.
What I was saying was, they know damn well they can't, that a police officer can't be the victim in a disorderly conduct case, and still they write the ticket.
Yeah, knowing that you're going to have to come all the way from Houston to El Paso or give in and give them the money.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And what they listed for the victim. What they listed for the victim was the building, not even a person. They listed a building for the victim.
I forgot to tell you all about that one.
Or you can write a motion to dismiss. Or you can write requests for admissions and interrogatories and requests for production of documents and send them to them registered mail. and make their asshole pucker up to a 12 on a 1 to 10 factor.
Well, at this point,
that
we
is
know
a
that no
perfect
FBI
strategy,
agent
and
is
that
going to show
works
up because they're being
99%
sued.
of the time. And if they blow past it, you just go straight to an appellate court, and they'll dismiss that immediately. Yeah.
We didn't hear you, David.
I said that they know that none of those people are coming to court. The FBI, even if you subpoena them, can refuse to show up. And anything that they say will be used against them in the civil court, and they know that, in the civil trial, and they know that. So they're not coming. So the whole thing with El Paso is just harassment.
There is going to be a civil case on this, though, correct? I hope.
It's already in motion.
Oh, good.
It started within.
And they know it.
I don't like lawyers, but I'll make an exception in this case.
Yeah. The civil court was started. The civil action was started 5 minutes after I came out of handcuffs. My lawyer called me. He was on the live stream watching. And as soon as I was out of handcuffs, he called me and said, "Can I go?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Your ass going to get paid. Payday.
Yeah. Well, see, they don't realize that we normally, well, not David. David has backups, and we have backup, and sometimes it's 1 deep, sometimes it's 5 deep, sometimes it's more. And they don't always see us. And sometimes we're out in front of them where they can see us. They just don't ever know what we're going to do because every one of us has 2 or 3 cameras on us, and we might be a few feet away or we might be a few hundred feet away. I might be sitting in the car across the street enjoying relaxing while listening in and videoing. They just never know where we're going to be.
That's good.
Yeah, they did everything they could to shut off all the cameras. When they got to my body camera, I wasn't having it. They were going to have to beat me to death to turn that body camera off. All they made you do was flip it down.
So, David, is there I think a great video to do would be, and this might need to be a private video. For people that are in, our group, but on how to set up your cameras to defeat them deleting or turning them off.
Well, you can't stop them if they pick your camera up and start playing with it. They'll figure out how to turn it off, even if they have to. I had them one time pull the battery off the damn thing because they couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So there's only so much you can do. Now my body camera is a GoPro, and what I did was I filed down the.
Whoa. Oh, sorry. I thought he was being serious.
No. I filed down the inside button, so when you push on the button on the outside, it doesn't do anything. So that's what they do. They try to push on the buttons on the outside, thinking it'll turn it off, and they don't work. On the outside case, you have to take it out of the case. You have to take it out of the case to turn it on and off.
Yep.
You have to push the button with your middle finger. That's great.
And there's other things in the works that we haven't got done yet. But
I have to say, I really admire that remedy. That makes me smile. It's really clever.
Can you see the cops in there?
That is using your head for something other than a hat rack, and I like it.
We're the people. We're the people.
And there's all kinds of little other toys out there that are available that can be used that get overlooked from time to time. And if you got enough of these little things hanging around here and there and enough people hanging around here and there, they're not going to get away with much.
Well, guys, I'm going to take something from Al Gore. You put it in a lockbox. In the trunk of my car. Next time we all get together, I'll take you out to the car, and I'll show you what I've got set up in there now. But everything, now they could start cutting wires on cameras that are obviously in the passenger area, but everything goes back to a lockbox that has its own battery, its own inverter, and its own DVR, and then it also uploads real time through either an iPhone hotspot or These are some great routers, Eddie Maxes. I have 2 of those in my car, and so if I'm near a public Wi-Fi zone, I set that router up once, it talks to the other router, and this is overkill for a lot of people, and frankly, I don't do what you guys do in the field, but if I can shake loose from some of my office responsibilities, I like to come ride shotgun on a couple of the trips with you guys, and bring this this lockbox with me.
Yeah, we need to get Chief down here to work.
Yeah.
With. We need to get Chief down here with me and David. and
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
You put Chief out with me, and he's going to get arrested.
We gotta send a damn airplane up there to get Big Boy.
So, Jim, is it legal to send burst transmission data over ham radio?
Unless you got a license.
If you have a license and you're not infringing on another frequency, I don't see any reason why not, Jay.
Could you do that? Could you do that to stream video from your set? Okay.
Yes, and that's actually been in the works here a couple years. I have an IC 710 ICOM base, and then I've got the little bow fangs. I'll go grab one here and show you. I actually have a bunch of them, and I recommend people get them. I also have a quarter scale 4x4 truck with my drone on it, and since we were showing toys last night, I might go get that and show that on camera. But yes, Jay, if you're not infringing on another person's channel and you have your license, your tech license at least, I see no reason whatsoever why you can't do that. There you go.
And you get an extended battery for it. I also have an extended antenna for, like, if I'm driving the car, I can stick it up on top. And I've also got a big antenna on the house that I can hook it up to with an adapter. And I also have a permission to use a repeater here locally that's owned by a private individual that I know.
Cool.
I got a Bowfang radio.
They're good little radios, and they're not very expensive.
Yeah. Well, I got a Bowfang. Matter of fact, I used that at the constable's office because it was cheap and it had the frequencies we needed.
And this also has some open channels on it for you can use as a walkie-talkie.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring my Bowfang when I come to Texas on my next trip. Hell, I'm in Texas half the time.
Well, when are you moving here?
Huh?
You're supposed to be moving here pretty soon.
Hey. No. Well, I got an abode there, and I got an abode in Alabama. I'm a double aboder. And I dwell where I dwell within my dominion, which is anywhere. Where my head is. Well, I don't have a hat, but wherever my shoes are. But yeah, I'm going to be there on a full-time basis, probably between 3 and 9 months. But if anybody has funding and wants me to come to Texas earlier, I'll
You're having way too much fun, Chief.
Hey, I am Texas born and bred. I will be in Texas when I die. My boots will be facing it so I can see my maker. He'd call me and I'll stand straight up and say, "Howdy, Jesus! Been waiting on you, buddy."
And I think that mic you just on that radio you can set up to be voice activated, so you can just flip it here. And
Hey, Chief, are you in Alabama now?
Yes, sir. I'm about 30 miles, 30 miles west of Enterprise, or 60 miles west of Dothan, Alabama. I'm also about 90 or 100 miles north of Fort Walton Beach, Florida, or 25 miles from the Florida line. But I ain't going to tell you where I'm at. I'm just giving you a general proximity.
That's
it's
fine.
a secret. But I tell you not on here, but I tell you. And where I'm going in Texas will be Northeast Texas, and I tell everybody here where I'm going, but I ain't telling nobody else. It's secret.
Oh, I already know where you're going in Texas. You said it the other day, or the general area.
That's right. And I'm going to hang out with you guys. I'm going to be your new best friend.
Well, I was asking because I had somebody contact me from Alabama that's having some trouble with the railroad police out there.
Ooh, hey, you know, God, I worked for the damn railroad police one time. What in the hell was the name of that railroad?
CSX.
Yeah, CSX. That's it. Over in Tallahassee, Midway, Florida area. I had a special law enforcement contract with CSX Railroad. They derailed over there, and they lost about 6,000 cases of wine, and they still people over there digging in the dirt looking for wine to this day. They got a bunch of winos over there. Anyway, I had a special contract with them for several months working with them. They're some peculiar people. And their railroad police think that they're little Jesus.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. This kid, this 16-year-old kid was taking pictures of trains from a roadway, and CSX police came and got him and told him to leave. When he refused, they charged him with trespassing. The charge got dropped because it was public property. But, you know, he still had the right.
Oh, absolutely. Well, them damn CS railroad police have been hit by a train or something. Now, the really, really old guys that are about, say, between 65 and 75 that somehow got a waiver and they hung and something, they know what time it is, and they're just collecting a check, and they actually do, like the old timers, that if you're trying to steal something or do something really wrong, they deal with you. Elsewise, they say, hey, how you doing? But these young cats, they get this crazy thing like, well, we got a federal commission from the Department of Interior and Bureau of Indian Affairs. Well, great if you're on the reservation, but you're on the continental United States, asshole. You know, they think, well, we got state commissions and federal commissions, and we're little Jesus. And they just make up their own laws. It's a policy, but they treat a policy, which is the way we do it around here, like actual law. And it ain't. Yep.
Well, I'm coming to Alabama. I'm coming to Alabama to challenge those CSX cops. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it's happening. I got to finish up with El Paso before I can do it.
Hey, when you do, you can stay to my abode with me, and we'll go together.
Well, if we go together, we go to jail together. Because if they're going to arrest me, I'm going to take the ride. I'm not copping out for them. They're going to be stupid. You know, I'll go with stupid.
Well, but I'm going to videotape it, and I'm going to be your good eyewitness.
Sounds good to me.
What do you think if we bring the truck that I just showed there, and that might be a little overkill, but you know, we can be sitting like Steve said, all comfortable observing, and there's nothing stopping that truck, and that drone has a good 1080p camera in it, which stores it on board, but it also transmits it down to my iPhone, which then can go back to my lockbox and go out to the world. So even if they get my toy, and again, how far do we want to push this? Because you start flying drones and using RC vehicles. See, that's where I'd be having some fun. And this isn't a funny thing to deal with. But then again, there's so much talent in this group. We could really jam it up the South Pole. So let me know on that trip, because I might just hop in the buggy and bring her on up.
Okay, I'll let you know. Like I said, I got to wrap up El Paso first, straighten them guys out, and then I'll let you know.
Hey, they told me they changed the name. They changed the name out there to El Piso. Is that right? El Piso.
I know come Monday morning when I put this next video out, they're going to be pissed off. I had a Border Patrol agent introduce himself as Joe Mama.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Mama Piso.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Them people
Oh,
in El Paso.
me.
Hey, you know what?
I got you.
When I used to drive a truck, man, I went through El Paso all the freaking time, constantly. And I'd go across into Juarez. My buddy, he was big into buying Mexican blankets, and he had bought some Mexican gold and Mexican silver, and some of it was said to be a higher quality than it was. I mean, it's still good, but it wasn't as high as they said. But he got some really, really, really good deals, and we get the free Savessa, buy one, get 5. Okay, that's that. Went down there and got us some homemade Mexican boots, and had a good time. It was a wonderful place. I used to go there all the time and go there and get the antibiotics. I wish I know somebody was out there now to get me antibiotics, because, man, I get whole big freaking bottles for like $25 or $28 with like 300 of them in there. So that's enough for me in case I get sick for like 4 years, you know. Matter of fact, I bought 2 bottles, but they eventually run, you know.
Well, Juarez is now the murder capital of the world, next to Syria.
Well, if
So
you're
you don't go there, huh?
No, I don't go there.
Oh, come on. Hey, that looks like the Addams family, the hand that keeps like this here, like, hello, give us a hand.
well, Chief, I'm having problems.
You're having problems.
I'm having problems believing your story, because on the one hand, you're saying go and get gold and stuff. On the other hand, you're saying you're going to get antibiotics. Now, if you didn't visit that place for the wrong reason, you wouldn't need those antibiotics.
There you go.
Hey,
You don't need the golden
Oh, ding, 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 ding.
well, wait. Hold up. Let me tell you this. I had a CPAP machine, and I was getting sinus infections all the time. I wasn't getting them other kind.
Okay.
I was a straight up guy. Okay.
You gonna stick to that story?
Hey, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Hey, I'm not under penalty of perjury, am I?
No, not right now.
If I'm under penalty of perjury, I'm going to retract everything I've said.
You do have the right to remain silent, though, too.
I have the right, but I do not have the ability.
That's right. You got it.
So since I don't have the ability, don't count it against me. If I don't have the ability to exercise my right, you can't use that against me in a court of law, you stupid ass judge.
We can do any damn thing
Hey,
we want to.
homie can do that too. Yeah, you're the law.
Hey, how about we roll that truck into a courtroom, and just before we cross the bar, we take the drone off.
Yeah.
Cover in front of Your Honor. What do you think that'd get us?
I think that'll get you thrown in jail.
Toad?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get Gavin to come get us out. Hey, folks, I don't mean to laugh. This is not laughing matter, but you know what? You got some real talent accumulated here, and we
sure do.
Thing done, but we also have to have a little bit of treehouse fun here, because it is egregious what I've seen in my 10, 11 years in this mess. What I've watched David and others do out there. David was the first one. And I have to give a shout out to Disgruntled GI on my channel, because he's the one that brought us all together, and contacted Chief and said, hey, you know, I think you ought to come on and talk to Jim and be on his show. And then we know what we had to go through with John, which we discussed that earlier in the show. And look where we're at today in what, Chief? Less than, 6 weeks?
Yes. Days or so, I'd say.
Well, and actually, he also put me in touch with David directly. Actually, Chief, to be on an accurate timeline, David was the first. And he was kind enough to give us about an hour and then speak with me prior to that. So I look at the evolution of our timeline, and I'll tell you what, I'm not going to get all biblical on you guys, but this is good versus evil. And we've obviously been empowered by a divine intervention here. And I'll leave it at that.
We got two Damons on here right now.
Yeah, I see we do.
Yeah, because I couldn't see so good on my little phone, even though I can't talk to y'all through my computer, I can see on my big ass. I got this screen about this big. You know, it's not gigantic. It's like 22 or 28 inch, but I can see that better than 4 inches. And everybody's froze up on my camera, but I can watch y'all on the thing here.
Well, you're going to be fixed up pretty soon.
Chief, on Wednesday, and that's where I want to defer because after talking with you guys, I don't think your computer has a problem, Chief. Now, that doesn't mean we can't go through and together on a Zoom call kind of go through and see what's loaded that maybe you don't want. But once you get this camera, it has a stereo mic and, you know, full 1080p. I sent you the specs on it. And once we get that thing plugged in, you're going to be hanging out with the guys with the big screens.
And I would suggest you set it at 720, not one. You know, you don't need the high def, and it'll just take more power out of the computer.
Well, Steve is correct. Plus for streaming, but I went ahead because there was a 720 that I was going to send him, but I thought, well, if he's going to do his own videos,
yeah,
and not necessarily stream, and he wants to do them in 1020, then so you know it was. I don't know, 30, 40 bucks. Let's get the best if we're going to buy anything. But he's going to have the stuff, and the Logitech software is going to afford him the ability to broadcast to YouTube Live and Facebook. And you see, I don't do any of that. I won't touch Facebook Live, but I will consider YouTube. But he's going to be set up, and I don't think his computer is as sick as he thinks. I think it's that you guys are using Microsoft Movie Maker, which is a pig on resources, all just by design. And so what I'm trying to do is...
I've also used Handbrake and a couple other things, and my computing power, my computer shuts down every single time that it gets between 3 and 9% processed, it shuts it down because it overheats my computer because I only got 4 gigabytes of RAM.
Well, see, that tells me, no, it's not the memory size. That tells me you have a cooling fan issue. See, your fan on the processor might be dead, which will kill that machine. Also, the power supplies.
Might want to clean it too.
Yeah, and don't use air. You know, I'm not a compressed air fan because all you do is blow the dust into the chipsets. You can get a really low volume, and I know Jay or somebody's going to come in on me on this, but you get yourself a little mini shop vac kind of thing with low suction, and an anti-static attachment, and go in there and suck it out. Now, you can use a normal shop vac on the power supply itself.
When the police come to you, what to say? Are you here to suck it out?
Yeah, I'm here to suck it out, baby.
Suck it out.
You know, these are the kind of things that,
Philip says, "Suck it easy."
yeah.
You're killing me.
I think I'm going to yield. The ladies, I don't want to lose the ladies on our show.
Hey, are you really still going to do Zoom with me tomorrow so we can do some stuff there, buddy?
No, I'm going to wait until your camera arrives to do that.
Oh, troublemaker, huh?
Hey, Chief, you got to understand, you know, I need time to think on things.
Yeah.
And to me, you know, I'll spend all the time I can on this thing because I'm dedicated. But I also have other things going on, and I do my best to manage my time. And to me, if we're going to do a session, let's wait and get that last piece of hardware, and then we can get it all settled in on the same phone call. And I'd like to have Steve join us for some of his expertise as well. And
Sure, absolutely.
we'll all learn something. Or, you know, Steve can say, well, yeah, just like he said, he made a good point. Yeah, it's a 1080p camera, but there's no need to use the high end when 720 will do just fine and preserve resources. So I am going to defer our meeting. And now if that camera comes in early Wednesday, then we go to Wednesday. I absolutely have no doubt whatsoever it will be there sometime Wednesday, and perhaps we get it and we defer to Thursday. But once you get that last piece of hardware, then we can do some testing, and that'll put us in good shape for next Saturday's show, if you guys want to do this once a week.
Yeah, cool with me.
Works for me.
Hey, I like his hat. It's straight up and down like it's supposed to be with the flag. It's a civilian flag. You know?
That is the U.S. peace flag.
Correct. That's what I'm talking about. I admire that. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, guys,
Hey,
we've been on for an hour and a half. You guys want to keep going, or you want to save some for our next visit? And I think Jay's battery is going to be running out pretty soon.
It is.
I'm open, but I'm also
Jay may run out.
Yeah, I think we should wrap. And then, Steve, I'll get with you, and we can figure out how to FTP the file. And that way I can trade the file with you on my recording. And then if you guys don't mind, I'll put in the credits and edit it with all your websites, web links. And if you know, and we'll make this our first real show. And then we'll look forward to improvements for our next Saturday show. So that's my vote.
And I agree. And everybody here has the same rights to the video as we all equal in this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you said that.
Well,
I don't know if you guys want to be seen with me, man.
Well, you know, we'll risk it. You know, you can't play it safe all the time.
My mama warned me about people like you, Jay, but I'm okay with you, partner.
Yeah, I never did this to my mom anyway.
Well, thanks to all of you. Thanks to Jim. Thanks to Steve for hosting. Thanks for all of thank you to all of you. Thank you to David even that's left already. But yeah, I appreciate being here. Love to do it again sometime.
Me too.
Hey, you didn't say thanks me neither.
Oh yeah, Chief Jones. And by the way, thanks to Chief Jones. And
yeah, all right.
We really appreciate him.
Chief Jones.
Hey, you know what? If Jay,
we lost him.
The fucker threatened to take me. I'm sorry. He threatened to take me to jail several times on this show.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he wonders why I don't thank him.
I'm back.
He threatened to take me to jail several times, and then he wonders why I don't thank him.
I want to tell you, even if you get another car, if you don't keep making videos in that car, I'm going to be pissed.